Welcome back to Life with Sam in Louisiana. I'm going live with Michelle Melendez. Um, she is amazing. She wrote Great Maui Land Grab. Be doing a live with her, waiting for her. Oh, I think she's already in the room.
All right. Hey, aloha. Let's get my Zoom thing on her.
Right,
All right.
aloha.
Hi.
Girl, I'm in love with this book. I can't put it
Thank you.
down. Okay,
Yeah,
so
it's
much,
great.
Michelle. I'm just going to hit record so we can get it all because
Okay.
it's so good. This book is amazing. I'm in love, and I'm going to tell you the most
Recording in progress.
the most amazing thing, Michelle, is that God works in such good, amazing ways because I'm currently writing a book about cloud seeding and weather manipulation. And I get into your book, and the first thing that really jumped out at me was when you talk about your friend Bruce, who you interviewed, who really pointed out the anomalies, explained to you how the air was possibly flammable, and then that he is part of the Maui Community Investigates.
Yeah.
I'm interviewing Paul when I get to Maui in August. What day do I have Paul down for? I will be interviewing Paul on the 9th of August.
Awesome.
Yes. And when I saw that, I went, come on, Jesus, you're so amazing. The way he connects, he connects
Yeah.
people, and he's like, you got to get with her. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to call her. And then to see that, I was like, so I will be referencing your book and your knowledge in my book and
Good.
promoting it. And before we get going, guys, I want everybody to do me a favor. I want you to purchase 2 of these books, one for you and one for your public library. Okay?
Yeah. 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 You can get it. The only place right now you can get it is greatmauifire.com. Amazon. It will be on Amazon eventually, but greatmauifire.com is where to get the book. If you order 3, you get 1 for free. If you order 5, you get 2 for free. The great thing about this book is that it doesn't just go over the fire anomalies and the weather modification and the direct energy weapons, all of it, with patents, with acts of Congress that show people this is what happened, this is what's been happening. But it also goes through the chronological history of what's happened to America. And the fact that it's not a country, you guys, it's a corporation. And this corporation, it is all about money. It's all about the investors, the stakeholders who are running the world, basically, and what they want to do to this country, and also the power we have, which is through the Constitution.
Yes.
We have to bring that back.
Yeah, we do. People don't realize, like, you're seeing a movement of people when they hear us, because I vote Republican, but I also vote Democrat. So when I tell people, like, I'm a conservative, but I'm gonna be honest, I'm a constitutionalist. Like, if you would just give me back my Constitution, I'm okay. Like, it's an amazing document that was created to stop what's happening right now in America.
Exactly.
It will stop corporations from coming in. It will stop inflation. It will stop everything in its tracks because it was created to protect each
Yes.
and every American, regardless of color, religion, sexual orientation. It doesn't matter. It can be applied to you personally over and over again. And it's just beautiful. But I want to tell everybody in Michelle's book on page 19, she's going to prove to you that weather modification is a real thing, okay? Because the National Weather Modification Policy Act was signed by Congress October 13th, 1976, folks.
Yeah.
So they have had permission to go and modify weather since 76, but I found documents online when I was writing my book that go as far back as the 60s where they actually admit, oops, we caused a drought. Like, oh, sorry. Yeah, Oh,
Yeah.
we didn't mean
Well,
to
it's been
do
happening
that.
since after World War II. It's been happening since World War II. That's so 45, the end of the World War II. It started happening after that. So
Yes.
people don't understand a lot about that war, you know, and that there's a whole nother ball of wax too with the Nazis, because you know, that's a whole nother ball of wax through the medical industry.
Oh
People
my
don't
gosh,
understand
yes.
that it's called Project Paperclip. If you guys are watching, go to Project Paperclip. Look it up. It shows you. They brought Nazi scientists over to America, and they started the pharmaceutical industry. So
Yes,
it's
and
like
NASA. They're all in NASA. They
they're
hid them inside the
they had
ranks of NASA and funded their research. People don't realize when there was actually a push a few years ago by some college students to stop using some of the manuals that were in medical schools because they show human bodies and they show like the entire, say, nervous system. They would map the nerve through the body. What people did not realize was those people were still alive on the table. So when they're exposing that nerve and that leg and that picture, a living human was on the end of that, Michelle. And so people
yeah
were like, if we really understood that we jumped from a second world country to a first world country in the sense of knowledge in a span of like 3 years, because when we invaded Germany, we took it all. We took it all, we brought it back to America, and these corporations started bidding on the knowledge. They started patenting the ideas. They started, and the people that pushed back were like, this is wrong. They
yeah.
started to die, they
That's
started
right.
to
That's
disappear.
right.
The CIA started doing slush jobs against them. The media turned against them.
Mhm.
It was unreal, but we have been systematically taken over by
Yeah.
the Nazis since the 40s. Yeah.
And the thing is with World War II, Germany lost, but the Nazis won.
Yes.
Germany, those are two different things. Germany is a country. My great grandmother's from Germany. She actually got
Mm-hmm.
out before the war came over. She was there. They were actually had death threats because they were German. So they moved to a small mountain town and told everybody they were from Holland because they had really deep German accents. But but the thing is, so the country lost, which is really sad for all the people because it
Yes.
wasn't the people, but the Nazis, they survived, and they are in the United States, and they are running the farm. They started the pharmaceutical industry. They've started NASA. They've started all of it.
They
And
started
the
the
thing is that
abortions. Michelle,
that is correct.
it's mind blowing to me
Yeah,
that,
sad, very sad.
yes, 17% of our population are black, and 60% of black women, for abortions, you look at all the statistics, right? And the woman that started that, the Nazis actually, that was started before World War II, and they actually pulled from her mindset and they passed that out to all of the Nazi sympathizers. And it's crazy because Margaret Sanger was a Nazi, and she started Planned Parenthood. Our government funded her, and I'm just like, wow, no
And I believe
wonder.
that the abortion clinics were started first in the black areas,
Yeah, they were.
and yeah.
It's heartbreaking. But to get to the book, folks, because I called Michelle last night and she didn't answer. And I was like, oh my gosh, please call me back.
I was so busy
I
yesterday.
know, I know. And that's a good thing, right? Because that just means we're doing what we need to be doing because we are not
Yeah.
idle. But you
No.
mentioned on August 7th that your friend
Mhm.
Donna was traveling from the mainland, the main island of Hawaii, and she was traveling to the mainland of the US, and she began to notice that the flight had multiple unaccompanied children, but that the children, like half the passengers, first off, were not American. Many were speaking Russian, but there were several children and babies that were not being accompanied. So can you deep dive that a little more? Like that's on August 7th. So everybody will
Yeah.
understand. We're not talking about post fire. We're talking
Yeah.
pre
Pre.
fire.
Yeah, this was on the Big Island. So she was flying from the Big Island. She flew over Maui, and I'll explain what she saw over Maui with the cloud formation because that's very interesting. I'm not. We have had a conversation about what she saw on the plane. She said that she felt like it was an evacuation. She doesn't
Right.
know for sure. However, She's a national security expert contractor. The actual national security hires her to go in and teach a lot of different things to national security, one being espionage and different things like that. But
She should have helped the Secret Service the other day with Trump. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. That's another story too.
Right.
We can totally get into as well. But because I have my own version of what was going on with that.
Yeah.
But basically what she said was that it didn't feel normal because they actually went through security twice.
Yeah.
And the second time that they went through security, she asked the guy, "Is this normal?" And he goes, "Sort of," which means no, it's not normal. And she's a trained observer. Like me, I wouldn't have noticed anything. I would have been like, okay, da, da, da. But she's a trained observer to notice things. And then so she knew that, okay, that was weird. And then also getting on the plane, she said that she felt, kids playing around, with the back of her chair, and she got up to look around, and that's when she noticed there was a lot of children on, and a lot of Russian-speaking children. She knows what Russian sounds like. We don't know what that means. We do know that a lot of foreigners do come to the Big Island, particularly to have children. So maybe they're just doing a dual citizenship. I don't know what the story is with that, but from a trained observer saying that she felt like it was some type of an evacuation the day before the Maui fire. And again, this was on Big Island. Big Island did have a fire that day.
Yeah, they did.
Yes, and it was but on the point, which is the closest to near the point, which is the closest to Maui. So it wasn't as bad, obviously, as the Lahaina fire, which was, in my opinion, an attack on Maui.
Yes.
Actually, it's not just my opinion, but many expert opinions. And again, you guys, this is the Great Maui Land Grab. What caused the Maui fire, and is your home next? Again, you can only get this currently at greatmauifire.com. Please share that link, greatmauifire.com. What else she saw was when she was flying over Maui, there were linear clouds. So Bruce Douglas, who is an expert in weather engineering, he's actually studied the weather over the Hawaii Islands for 15 years. So he saw these linear clouds coming over Maui, and he knew something was wrong. The day before, he saw haze. And in the book, you'll see pictures of the haze.
Okay, so let me stop you there, because this is what caught my attention mainly. I was contacted by a woman that I gave my word I would never give her name. She lives a little bit outside of Kula, a little bit north, higher up. She said on August 7th that evening, as the sun was going down, she noticed a police presence on the mountain. She walked outside, and now it's completely dark, because you know how it happens. It's like, boom, it's dark. You have to be there to experience it, but it's like light and then none. And that high up, Haleakala, it is black. And she said she was standing there, and it had been hazy all day, but she began to see, and Michelle, I am not exaggerating, these low, like it looked like a fog rolling down Haleakala in waves. Woof, woof. Yeah, and she said the first one hit her, and immediately she said, Samantha, I was not moist. Like you would expect if that was fog, that you would get a little damp, because I've been in heavy fog, and you get a little wet.
Me too.
And she said, I was completely dry, but immediately I began to feel tingly. And she said, I became very disoriented. And she said, the next thing I know, the cops, she doesn't know how she noticed cops, and they were in her yard. But she said one of them she knew, and he put his hand on her back and on her arm and directed her towards her house. And he said, ma'am, I'm going to need you to go in your house and lay down. Don't come back outside. And she was like, what? And he's like, I need you to go inside. I need you to lay down, and I need you not to come back outside, okay? And she said, I'm a good person. So I'm like, yes, sir. And she said, I somehow get in my home, and I lay down. And she said, I had the most insane dreams all night long. And when I woke up with a hangover. And she said, and that's when I heard that during the night, further south down the mountain from her, the first fire started to pop up in upcountry. She said, Samantha, I don't know what that fog was, but it was not a fog. And Michelle, when I got to page 9, and I saw the picture of that haze, I I cannot explain to you guys how I felt, because I felt like there it is. There it is. I had a firsthand experience, and a person explaining to me in detail what she went through. And here is the proof in Michelle's book, exactly what I was telling people months ago when she first told me. Of course, I made a video, and people are like, "Oh, well, what was it?" I'm like, how am I supposed to know? But thank you for like closing all those missing pieces for me, because there it is. I mean, like, whatever this was, it was actually affecting people.
Yeah.
They were having nightmares. Many people
Wow.
told me the night of August 7th, they had nightmares on that island. Like, now, me, I also see that two things. I see that spiritual and I see that physical. To me, I feel like it was a warning of the Holy Spirit telling them something's wrong. Prepare yourself, But I, too, am in total agreement with you that this was a genocide of
Yeah,
an
absolutely.
entire island. And it was meant to grab the land. I mean, it's her title says it
Absolutely.
all. But go
Well, they
ahead.
also, the amount of people that they murdered, and the children. The
Yes,
children are the ones that would inherit the land.
that's
So
right.
I believe, I can't remember if it's 3,000 or 4,000 children in Lahaina school district, but they were home alone. So when Kiki are home by themselves, they're usually either with a grandparent or by themselves. And when they're out of school, they don't have anybody to go. They're usually at home. So
That's right.
they didn't have a siren. There was no like evacuation, anything. There was a woman. The amount of children that died according to the official death count was three children.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they were. So let's just take this for instance. The front street had all the cars lined up in a row. Nobody's car door was open.
I
So
heard
if a
that.
fire is
Yeah.
coming, and if you're in danger, you're gonna try to get out of the
Yeah,
car,
you
and you're
are.
probably not gonna shut your door.
No,
It's
you're
just like
not.
get out, run. But all these car doors were shut. They had one child, I believe, that was in a car. One child that was found charred, completely charred, holding his dog, lying on his bed. The whole room was gone, and the mother said she believes God left him that way, completely recognizable, black charred. She said she believes God left him that way so she would recognize him.
Yeah.
That's not how bodies burn. They burn from the outside in, not from the inside out.
You're right.
That child knew the fire was coming. He knew he was going to die. That's another reason why I started doing the work I'm doing, because they incinerated children. They left them to die alone, and that is like, that's not okay.
It's not okay, Michelle. Look, I know we're both crying because it's not okay.
These people are monsters. These people are demons. I don't know. I think that like our Governor Green, I think I don't think he's being told what to do. He's a puppet of some sort.
Yes, he is.
But there's something else that's higher that we will probably never know who and what these beings are. They're not human.
No.
Because no human being with a heart could do what they have done, not just to Lahaina and Maui, but to what they're doing to the world, what they've done to Gaza, what they've done all over to East Palestine on the mainland. That I am not forgetting about you, East Palestine people, because that was also a travesty as well.
Have you heard about
So
what they're doing in Arizona right now, Michelle? I did a video the other day. My subscribers are so amazing. They're such in-tuned people that they just kind of instinctually know when something's not right, and they'll just kind of drop something in comments, because I read all my own comments, all of them. And one lady was just very kind. She said, "Sam, would you please look into this? Something's not right. I'm in Arizona. They're burning Apache land. Please look into it." I'm sitting there with my phone. I checked. She's right. San Carlos Apache, reservation on fire. She's completely correct.
wow.
And I'm like, God, what am I missing? Like, what is it about this that's going to tie it together? And God said, type Apache tribe sustainability goals. And I thought, I don't make any sense. So I type it in, Michelle. Do you know what pops up? An entire paper about the Apache tribe going to the United Nations like a year and a half ago, begging them to stop a worldwide copper company from coming in their most sacred site sits on the world's largest copper lode in the entire world. They have to have that copper to continue with these new
Yeah.
green deal.
That's right.
That's it.
With the cars. I mean, they need a
Yes,
ton of copper and cobalt and
and lithium.
lithium. Yeah.
And so that's what they did. They have been fighting it. They have been asking, they've been trying to get this copper all the way back with Obama. So the Apache tribe went to Obama. He signed the deal with the company. So the company keeps trying to come in and take their land. They keep fighting it, in state court. Then they go up to the first federal courts. They're winning. All of a sudden, the company's back. So they go to Biden. They're like, please help us. This is our land. You gave this to us in 1870. It's our land. We're not giving up the copper. Biden signs the contract with the copper mine. So what do they do? They go all the way to the United Nations. It was the Apache tribe from San Carlos, Arizona. It was the Sami from Norwegian Norway, because now all the areas where they run their reindeer, they're coming in and ripping it up to get to these minerals that they need for the Green New Deal. And I'm like, okay, so you're telling me that the last of the minerals in the earth are under the most sacred herd areas and spiritual sites for these indigenous tribes, and we're going to let a world-owned company come in. So all of a sudden, Michelle, the forest where the Apaches, they had their own sawmill, and that's how they would make money. So a lot of the people in Arizona, in that part of Arizona, use wood-burning stoves. So the tribesmen got free wood, and they also cut trees and made planks, and it wasn't like $1 million, but it brought money and jobs, and they were self-sustainable. Their entire forest is on fire, and it was burning them all out. They were losing their ancestral homes, and guess what's going to happen? There's going to be no way for them to live there anymore. The EPA is going to come in, start tearing up all the sacred sites to clean it, and in the process, they're going to go ahead and sign it over to the copper mine because the people will starve if they stay there. It's absolutely heartbreaking.
This is what we have to understand, that these corporations, they are attacking us, and we do have power, and it is through using the original organic constitution. So there's two constitutions. The first one was started in 1770, I believe it was 1778. The next one was 1784, 86, something like that. It might have even been 1791. But what happened was, after the Civil War, so the North and South sides of the United States were getting funding from foreign bankers to fund the Civil War. Then what happened after the Civil War, the bankers don't care who wins. No. They just want their money back, but the country's broke. So what they did was they could use the country and us beings, citizens. We're actually not citizens, you guys. We are living men and women under God with unalienable rights.
Amen.
Not U.S. citizens. A U.S. citizen turned us into a commodity that is collateral for these foreign bankers. And so that's when the United States of America turned into the United States corporation. All of our government agencies are corporatized, and when you have a corporation, that means somebody owns the corporation. The United States is owned by these foreign bankers. Now we know the big names like Rothschild,
Rockefeller,
Carnegie, Rockefeller. Rothschild was the first banker in Europe, and I believe that was the 1500s, maybe 1600s. I think it was 1500s actually. But anyway, they're the ones that have the big investment companies like BlackRock and Vanguard. They're all under them. So they have pieces of that. So this is an attack on the people, and our only power that we actually have left is the Constitution, and that is enough. So last night I went to a meeting with our county councilwoman who is putting through these bills here on Big Island that is going to literally destroy our local farming industry.
Was this the woman that you and I sat in that meeting the other day? What is her name?
Kimball.
Yes.
Heather Kimball. She's District 1, Hamakua Coast, and she's putting through Bill 121, which will take away farming ability, farmers' rights to have
Yeah, I
work
sat through
traders.
that. That was insane, man.
It's
Like,
insane because then what will happen
what?
is the first fine is $2,500. These farmers barely stay afloat, and they have work traders to help them
That's
barely
right.
stay afloat. And the first fine, if they bring somebody in that's gonna do this, is $2,500. The second fine is $5,000. The third fine is $10,000 for a farmer. And then they're doing some other things as well. But I told her, I served her. I said, here's the affidavit of truth that I gave to you in February
Good for
because you are
you.
violating 7 amendments of the Constitution and you need to remove yourself from office. And then I told her, I said, I will be taking this to the Attorney General. They're
Yes.
not going to do anything, so it does need to go to the judicial branch. And that's the power that we have. And I'm going to take it all the way. I don't know if this is going to work, but I know I have to try. Because
Yes.
if we just sit on our booties and cry boo hoo hoo, they're going to run us over, which is what they're doing.
Yeah.
And so we have to at least try. And that's the other thing that we're going to do in Maui, because that we have to at least do something. We can't just sit there and let them. And that's the other thing that people were going, asking her, they're asking the county council, can I do this with my property? Let me tell
Right.
you guys, that's your property. You have a right from the Constitution to own property.
That's
It doesn't
right.
say you have the right to own property and then the county council can come in and tell you what to do with your property and fine you if you don't comply to their rules. That's not what the Constitution
No.
says. It says you have the right to own property. So
That's
why are you
right.
asking permission from this corporation that's not even the government of what
Right.
you can do and can't do with your property?
Because you
So
have to
I told
remember.
people,
Oh, I'm so sorry, but I was going to tell people, remember, even our prisons are now
yes, corporatized.
private. That's right, privately owned for profit. Wait a second.
Exactly.
How is a prison for profit? But everything has become for profit. So
Yes.
public schools are funded by organizations that say we're going to donate, the books, but you're going to teach this. If your children are in public school, your grandchildren, children on your street, get them out. Get
Yes,
them out. And
absolutely.
don't tell me you can't. I will walk you through setting up a private school, a home school, a whatever it is that your community needs. If you reach out to me, folks, I'll do that with you. That's what I did. We did it in my community, and if we can do it in a community that has a 97, it's like a score. It's like a distress score the federal government puts out. 100's the worst you can be. My community is at like 95.7. If we can do a school for where you have to pay to come and make it, where parents can actually afford it, in
Yeah.
my community, you can do it too. And I'll help you.
Yeah.
Y'all need to hear Michelle. If she can stand up in her community, she's trying to pass that anointing on, receive it, receive her energy that she's trying to shift. That's what we're going to do.
And
We're
I'll
going to
just
help
say-
you shift.
We go to standtogetherhawaii.com. Anybody can go standtogetherhawaii.com. Use the action, click on action, use those templates. Those are the affidavits. The first 17-page affidavit I sent to the Hawaii governor showing all the ways he's violated, and that whole system of government has violated the Constitution because of the Maui fire, telling him that they must investigate this. He's ignored that. Then the affidavit that I sent to Heather Kimball is also there. People can model that. She's ignoring us. They're ignoring us because we have to go to the next step to take them to the judicial branch,
Yes.
which is the court system. And you guys, I know this is scary. I'm scared too, but I'm more mad than scared.
Right.
I'm more angry that children got incinerated and
Right.
were murdered, and all these people, innocent people. That could have been me. That could have been you. That could have been anybody.
Right.
And including in what's happening in Gaza. I'm more mad than afraid. That's where my stance is. So go to standtogetherhawaii.com. Join the email list. I do send out action steps for Hawaii, but also you can model this for your own community because this is happening. And then the last thing I want to share is you've got to look at your planning department. You have to look at your general plan of what's coming because our general plan on Big Island has a general plan of over 200 pages. And in those 200 pages, the word stakeholder is written 47 times. Stakeholder, they want to cluster us. They want to comply with stakeholders and the federal government, and also the word homeowner is written 0 times.
I remember
in this
you
general
said
plan.
that. It's not in
scary.
there.
It's not okay. So you guys are watching, look at your own general plan. Just put in your county and put in general plan. It should come up. You'll find it.
Yeah, they
Look
have
at
to
it,
post
read
it. And if it's
have
not
to post
there, drive to your clerk of court's office, walk in and say hi with a big smile. I would like to get a copy of my general plan from the planning committee. And they're going to say, we don't have that here. That's at such and such office. And you're going to put your big smile on. You're going to say thank you because your mama raised you with some manners. You're going to walk out. You're going to go wherever they sent you, and you're going to track. You're not going to take no. Yes, track it down. Thank you. Don't take no for an answer. This is what I see, Michelle. I see people get told no one time. They sit down, they quit, and then they get angry. They either pick up a gun or a bomb or start spewing hatefulness out of their mouth because they let it bottle up. Guys, I tell people this all the time. If yes is the answer you need, then why did you ever accept no?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is our Kuleana. Kuleana means what is ours to do.
That's right.
So when I moved here, my family's been on island for 30 years, never wanted to live here. All of a sudden, I needed to live here. And then I was here for a year, January 2019, and then all of a sudden COVID hits, and I'm like, oh, this is why I'm here. Because I've been a fitness expert since 1996, and I know about the mask. It helps against the virus about as good as a chain link fence helps against a mosquito. And stop using hand sanitizer, people, because that's destroying your gut. It is destroying your microbiome in your gut. Do not use it. Use regular soap. So I started speaking out, and that's when I was like, I actually put my business to the side and just kept my private personal training clients, and then just started going full board. Then when the Maui fire happened, I was like, I didn't want to. I was pausing to speak out of respect for those who transitioned. But when Governor Green went to the United Nations, I was like, this is not okay, because he lied, and he's so much. I have a YouTube channel, Blossom Inner Wellness. Blossom and then Inner.
Go give
Wellness.
her a thumbs up.
There's 2 videos on there. You can also go to Stand Together Hawaii /Maui Fire. You'll find the 2 videos that says Governor of Hawaii lies to the UN and the world, and I go step by step of every sentence he says, and I show it how he's lying. Yeah. And if these people, these monsters, will keep going unless we stand up, and we have to do it together. That's the power that we have. But we only need. I was talking to a friend of mine last night. He says, Michelle, we only need 1%. 1% of people to stand up.
That's right.
We can do this.
There's actually a statistic, Michelle. My dad told me this one time. He said, Sam, I'm a 1%er. He survived a cancer that he only had 6% chance of surviving. And when he survived it, now the survival rate is 7%. My dad alone raised a percentage for the whole world, 1%. And he gave me that anointing. He looked me in my face and he goes, Pumpkin, you're a 1%er. He said, if you can get 1% of the people in your circle, the people in your town, the people in your states on your side, and really give it everything they've got, you can change the trajectory of the world. Guys, what you're listening to, Michelle is a 1%er. And Michelle, I really hope you know that you have a calling to run for office. I know that deep down, I know you don't sit on your face. Like, it's not really something really you want.
I've been told that numerous times, and I'm like, I don't want to so
no,
bad.
I know you don't.
I hear you.
But I think what's fixing to happen is the regular people like you and like me that had our lives going one direction, and we slammed into a man-made virus that they tried to, steal the entire world with. And you and I just dropped our pens and went, you know what? I think I may need to run for office. And do I know everything? No. Y'all, I'm having to study every day about how my local government is set up, what they can and can't do. I'm having to go back and relearn the Constitution. But if Michelle and I can do it, average people, y'all can do it too. And there's people listening to this, Michelle, and they have more knowledge than you and I. And they're sitting at home feeling like the world's out of control. And it's because the 1%ers won't stand up. But, I don't see that staying that way. It's told somebody the
No,
other day.
we are coming together. Things
Yeah,
are getting better. You guys, that's why we're here. I have a really good friend, because sometimes I get down and she goes, Michelle, we wouldn't be here if we didn't win. We
that's
wouldn't
right.
be here if we didn't win. It's not going to be pretty. It's going to be hard. And this is what we came for. And I feel that this is also a spiritual expansion. Like in the book, I have a prayer at the end of every chapter, because this is a spiritual war.
Yeah, it
And we're
is.
calling in freedom. We're calling in watching as these criminals get peaceably removed from office or voluntarily step down. And we're calling it in. We're calling in peace and harmony onto the planet. And what our kuleana is, our job is to follow our inspired intuition. Our inspired intuition in spirit. That's where inspired comes from. In
Yeah.
spirit, inspired. So you're pulled to doing what you want to do. So I'm so grateful for you for sharing the book again, and getting on your platform. And anybody out there, I'm open to interviews,
Yeah.
talking about the book, talking about what's happening with our government. Please contact me. You can go to standtogetherhawaii.com, or Blossom Inner Wellness is my main business site. And the other thing too I want to share about Blossom Inner Wellness is it's a private membership. So you actually have to sign up, and when you sign up, and you actually get a free Freedom School, because I put together a whole pages of Freedom School of showing people the system that we're in with the straw man and all of that,
Right.
and steps that I've personally taken to get out of the system. Once you sign up for the private membership on Blossom Inner Wellness, you actually have immediate access to the Freedom School.
That's amazing.
For free.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, everybody needs to know this. I'm not charging for this. So that's at blossominnerwellness.com.
I'm writing
and just
it
email
down.
me if you have a platform for me, because this is crazy. And you are like, I don't even know, the 10th or 11th person that said about running for office. And I just cringe, because the system needs to come down, but it's still in place.
Right.
And so I hear that, but because the system is an absolute it's a corporation.
Right. Right.
People don't have to give it power. I was at the meeting, and people were, like I said earlier, they were saying, can I do this? And I'm like, you guys, stop giving them power.
That's
this
right.
is like Walmart.
Do what
this
you
is
want.
like McDonald's.
Right.
This is a corporation. They have no power over you. They can't tell you what to do. And so, but we have to go in. We do go into the judicial system, the court systems. We do have to know the language.
Yeah.
The language is vital. So that is something that I'm also learning more of. I do know some, not all. I think it's a lifelong learning.
Yes, it
because
is.
we've been in this for before. This is over 100 years old of these systems, and I would even say over thousands of years old, because to be totally honest with you, I think this comes from the Canaanite line. Cain and Abel.
Yes.
Cain killed the Canaanites. I think it comes all the way from that line, because it goes down to the Babylonians, down to
the Romans,
Khazarian mafia, to the Romans, the Jesuits, which was created through the Catholic Church to stop the Protestants.
Yeah.
All of it. I think they're all demons. I think that absolutely, like I said, they're demonic, the Satanists that
because
are
it's
running
not
this
normal.
world.
That's right.
But God wins. The spirit, the frequency wins.
It does.
The light is here.
And I will tell people, Michelle said something earlier, and as from because some of my people are very like staunch Christian, and it's new for them to see somebody like me that's so in love with Jesus, born, reborn, tongue talking, devil chasing. They sometimes get confused when I use words like frequency, but that's a scientific fact, folks. Okay?
It is.
And what I'm going to tell you is that look at your Bible. When you start to see it in the terms that Michelle's speaking and I'm speaking right now, and you start to interpret that way, and let the Holy Spirit kind of get in there and remove some of that religious doctrine you've been indoctrinated with, because that's another bought thing, religion is, okay? And you start to see throughout the Bible phrases like, let it be in heaven, let it be on earth as it is in heaven. There is a system in heaven that God's telling you that if you will speak it, if you'll pull it down, you can live like that on earth, because he is already ordained for us to be free, right? That's why it says, that you're a new creation, right? When you begin to understand this, the old you is dead, because now God gives you an ability to create your reality, because he is a creative God. So I hope that helps to bridge that gap of maybe not understanding a lot of what Michelle and I are saying. But what we're telling you is that God loves you. That's what we're telling you guys.
There's a
Okay.
frequency. I just call it frequency for myself. I call it frequency. Because this is not empty space.
No, it's
this
not.
is a frequency field. This is the flower of life, my tattoo, and this is this geometric shape is in this frequency.
Yes, it is.
Is in the empty space, and it's in every single cell of our body.
Yep.
There's no place where the flower of life is not. This is why we are all connected. This is
That's
how
right.
Einstein was looking for the God particle. He wanted to find the particle that connected all of us.
Yeah.
Nassim Harriman, who I think lived on Kauai. I was even told he lived on Big Island, but I think he was on Kauai. Nassim Harriman,
Which is
who's
burning.
A physicist.
Kauai.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's burning
Kauai,
right
I've
now.
heard about that. In my own hometown, I got there a week later. It was burning. Same thing. But this geometric shape, the flower of life, connects everything. And Nassim Harriman is the one who found it. And what I want to say around that is that when I do prayers of calling in what it is that I want, what it is that I desire, and I give gratitude for it already being that we get to see, these criminals coming down off of their platforms. We call in freedom, we call in harmony for all people, we call in safety. That's the prayers that are in the book, and I say so it is at the end, because I call it in with the frequency of the infinite intelligence that is beating my heart and breathing my body, growing the plants, running the tides in the ocean. This consciousness, and you can call it a Jesus Christ consciousness of love that we can't even really fathom being in a human body, because that love is so eternal. It's like the sun shines, sends warmth and light every single day, and never asks for anything in return. It sends light so we can live, because if that sun does not come up, we will die. So that sun is that love, is the frequency